Okay, hello everyone. My name is Alex. I'm coming to you from Unjec's headquarters in Melbourne, Australia. I'm currently live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So I know you're all looking at me, but I'm looking at 3 different cameras. So bear with me. So for those of you who don't know Unjec's, we specialize in helping people eliminate Demodex mites from their skin. So this is essentially a Q&A session. Part of people having skin and hair issues is there's not a lot of awareness about Demodex mites. So every day we're getting people come to us with different questions about their skin problems, hair problems, Demodex mites and the role they play. Thank you, everybody. So if you have any questions, whether you're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, please ask them. So we are an Australian company. You can tell by my accent if you're not from here. And basically there's not a lot of people or products or like information out there on the markets to help people eliminate Demodex mites. So we're one of the only companies in the world to date that do provide a full solution, not just something to manage the symptoms or mask the symptoms or band-aid the symptoms, which a lot of other products sort of do. So part of the service is we call it like after sales follow-up. So when somebody has decided that they have a Demodex problem that they want to target and are going through the Unjec's protocol, which I'll go over a little bit later. Basically, there's consultants. So that's my job. I'm a Demodex consultant for Unjec's, and I help like advise and basically guide you through the treatment just to make sure that everything's on the right track. If you have any questions that come up, so there's a good chance that if you're already doing treatment, you've spoken to me or spoken to one of my colleagues. So one of the first questions we get asked is, how do you know that you have Demodex mites? And that's like a really good question because they are microscopic insects that live in your skin. So you can't see them with your naked eye, although like a lot of people say they can, but usually it's just a symptom or side effect of having too many. So one of the best ways of finding out if you have Demodex mites is to do a test. So we do tests with a microscope. If you're here in Melbourne, Australia, please contact our headquarters and book an appointment. We also have various locations, not only in Australia, but also over the world. So if you're lucky enough to live in one of the cities that we have them, contact us and let us know. We also have a lot of customers in North America, so in the US and Canada. We don't have a lot of testing centers over there, but we have developed an online test that's pretty accurate to determine the population of Demodex mites that you have in your skin. So if one of our staff could drop the link to the online test in the comments, I would really appreciate that. And then if you're watching this wondering if you do have these microscopic mites, click that link, answer the questions. I think there's something like 22 or 23 questions just about your symptoms, lifestyle, skin products. So I have a few questions on YouTube, which is awesome. Since they live in the pores, how do you get them out of the pores? So that's a really great question because they are subdermal, which means they do live under the skin. So basically our treatment works in 2 ways. it makes your body a very hostile environment for them to live. So essentially we want to make it a little bit like a desert, so it's really hard for them to live and thrive. And the second way is every night before you go to bed, or every night, not everyone sleeps at night, but before you go to bed, basically you use one of our products and it kills them directly. So every night we're reducing their populations until eventually, you know, there's no more adults to lay eggs, no more eggs to hatch, and the cycle's essentially broken. So it's not so much a matter of getting in and like scooping out from the pores, because they also live in the oil glands. But it's basically getting them when they're vulnerable on the skin and breaking their whole life cycle. So that's sort of what our product does, which answers the next question. There's also an instrument called a high frequency machine. So basically, I think I have, like, you can see a little bit here. If you look on our website, there's pictures of it, a bit better than that. But basically that comes as a free gift with our bundles. It's not our product, but basically what it does is it helps push our products a little bit deeper under the pores and penetrate, as well as like lots of other benefits that can help with symptoms, such as like killing any bacteria on the surface of the skin, helping blood circulation. So let's see, what's the best way to Demodex? So I'm assuming that means what's the best way to kill Demodex. So determining if you have mites is really the easy part. A 2014 study said that most people do have some levels of Demodex mites, and to be honest, it's pretty impossible not to have them. I had them. My skin's okay. I have quite thick hair, but I had, and I would never have known, except I work for Unchecks, and can test myself, and I saw them with my eyes. Obviously, I've got rid of them now, because I can see how bad they can get if you leave it. So determining you have mites is the easy bit, and then the next step is treatment, which I'll go into. I just have a few more questions. So from Instagram, could you please explain more about the microscopic test? Can I do it at home? I've got a small microscope. So 1 second, sorry. It's flu season here in Australia. Our seasons are changing. We're coming into winter. So I have a bit of a cough, excuse me. So the microscopic test, it's a great question. So mites themselves aren't hard to see. You don't need a very powerful microscope, but the issue with them is that they spend most of their time under the skin. So when you do the test, we're relying on them to sort of be on the surface of the skin, and that's when you pick them up. So they live, swim, eat, breathe oil. So they love the oil from your skin. Particularly if you haven't like washed for a couple of days and sort of take a oil scraping from the areas where you're having issues. So everybody's a bit different. For example, like if you have acne, if you have rosacea, you'd want to test those areas. Hair loss, obviously there's a higher amount there. So it really just varies person to person. It'll probably take a little bit of trial and error if you're doing it yourself, but you can definitely pick them up. Particularly, you'll need like a glass slide. I talk a lot with my hands, and for some of my hands are off camera, so I'm sorry about that. So yeah, if you have a glass slide, you pop some transparent oil, like baby oil, to break up the sample. You take skin scrapings from the areas where you're having issues. Make sure your skin is oily. Sometimes Demodex mites in people cause very dry skin. And when your skin's quite dry, mites tend to hang out underneath more often. So like don't wash for a couple of days. And yeah, it's best if you are doing it at home, do it at nighttime, because that's when they are on the surface most often because they don't really like sunlight. They can't tolerate the ultraviolet light from the sun. So I hope that answered your question, Mary Kay. If anyone has any more, please. Oh, okay. So we have some more messages on YouTube. How can we remove Demodex mites? So that's back to our care plan. So we have specially formulated products. They're actually our own invention from Ungex, which is why really we are one of the only companies that provide, thanks Mary, provide the whole treatment to the Demodex. But it's not just the products, it's also the way in which you use them, which we call the protocol. That's just as important as the products themselves. So for example, if you have the best toothpaste money can buy, the toothbrush that your dentist has recommended, but you brush your teeth after you eat dinner, or sorry, before you eat dinner, you've done the right thing, you've used the right products, but you've just missed a tiny step and the result is not what you've paid for, or not what you've worked for. So the protocol or the instructions with the products are really super important to do correctly. So for a lot of our US customers, as well as across UK and Europe, you purchase through Amazon. So if you're watching this, if you've been doing research and you've brought off Amazon, we do sort of have trouble contacting you to make sure that you are doing everything correctly, which is part of our job, my job as a Demodex consultant, to be talking to our customers and running through, just make sure everything's okay. Like everybody's skin's a little bit different, everybody's symptoms, so we sometimes need to just mix things up to make sure everything's on track. So if you have bought through Amazon, or if you've purchased and not been in contact with us, or we haven't been in contact with you, please send us a message, and we'd love to speak to you, because essentially we want you to get rid of Demodex mites. That's my job, Unjex's job, and that's ultimately why we're here. And anybody watching this who's doing or done the protocol knows we're pretty closely in touch the whole way, as much as you interact with us. So we've got another question on YouTube. How long does it take to get rid of them? Which is a really great question. Like I said, finding out you have Demodex mites and it being something you need to treat is the easy part. The next part is treatment. So to eliminate Demodex mites, due to the nature of their life cycle being, 95% under the skin, it is pretty time consuming to eliminate them. But if done properly with Ungex, it's a minimum of 3 to 4 months. Sometimes due to like chronic illness, sensitive skin, in which case we need to go in slower, or if somebody's done something like ivermectin or permethrin that can change their habits, it can take a little bit longer, but it's a minimum of 3 to 4 months to totally eliminate them. And we need to get rid of all of the generations from under the skin. Let's see if I have a bit of a visual for you. It's a little bit hard across the cameras, but see this handy dandy little hair follicle here? So basically their eggs hatch under the skin, and we can only get them when they're adults on top of the skin. So every night you're following our protocol, which is a mixture of cleansing the skin, changing habits in your lifestyle that will make your body a great place for them to live, and killing them directly. It also takes care of any cross transfer in the home. So pillowcases, hairbrushes, anything that comes into contact with those areas daily, mites can live off you for up to 52 hours. So we want to make sure that there's nothing coming back after you've gone to that effort of washing and spraying. The other thing is all our products are natural herbal based, which is great, but they're also not so harsh on the skin. So you can use them every day for that like minimum 3 to 4 months. So we have a lot of people coming to us asking about home remedies, things like tea tree oil or borax, or if you have Demodex, I'm sure you've come across this. We certainly have, I do on a daily basis. And basically those things don't work because they just target one tiny bit. And you can imagine something like tea tree oil, you can't, it's too strong to use on your skin, even if it did sort of target everywhere you needed to. It's too strong to use on your skin. It'll do more damage to you than it will the mites. Does anyone have any more questions? I feel like I just went off on a tangent. So basically, like I said, we are with you through treatment. So we do ship our products from Australia. We have customers all over the world. So if you're watching from like the US, Europe, Asia, anywhere really, we ship. We are also on Amazon. It's available through Prime for most countries, but I mean, ultimately they all come from here in Australia. They're Australian made and manufactured. They're really great products. Like I said, I had mites, which sounds embarrassing. It's not really something that you want to talk to your friends about. But I just think it's really important if you are struggling with things like acne or rosacea or like really intense problems that I can only assume like a lot of our customers have been looking for an answer for a long time. Mites are not a thing you should be embarrassed about. If you are, come talk to us. Like I can tell you, we've heard nearly everything under the sun people can throw at us. But yeah, Demodex mites are really the first place you should be looking if you have skin problems. For example, rosacea or acne is a very common thing for people to be experiencing with an overpopulation of Demodex mites. So an overpopulation essentially means you have too many parasites in a small space, like a hair follicle, and essentially their lifestyle, their living, breeding, dying is interrupting that follicle's normal routine. I just got distracted by my own face. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. So there can be 25 plus mites just under one follicle alone. So if I go back to this little visual, which if you look on the website is again way more presentable than what I've got here, but 25 plus mites in just one follicle. So follicles can also mean pores of your skin. Again, except for the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet, you have hair follicles all over your body. So 25 plus in one follicle, you have something like 1,500 follicles per square centimeter of skin. So that's a lot of mites. So something like acne, that can be a reaction. Basically, when they die under the skin, they liquefy. And obviously any bacteria, feces, any gross things from their bodies. Acne is your body's way of essentially containing that impurity under the skin. Again, rosacea, it can be an inflammatory reaction to that bacteria. So there's a lot of symptoms. Just because you have one and another, it doesn't mean you don't have mites. It's just everybody's body reacts to them a little bit differently. So that test, if you go to our website, unjex.com, and take the quiz, there's again like 23 questions. They're pretty simple. You can answer and it'll give you a good idea. We also do offer 10-minute free phone consultations. So if you wanted to chat to me or one of my colleagues directly, we're open during Australian business hours So you're more than welcome to see if we can hopefully help you, because a lot of people have been struggling with mites for a long time. They may not have known about mites. They may have just been treating them wrong. So that's what we're here for. One, we want to make sure we can help, and then when we're positive, we essentially want to help. So just one more question's coming from YouTube. Have you seen African Americans with dark skin due to mites? I'm at least 2 to 3 shades darker on my face than my inner arm. So mites can cause skin discolorations. Usually it's sort of blotchy, not just a whole part of your body, but again, everybody's different. So what I would do is go to our website and take that quiz, because it could be that you have like other symptoms that maybe you're not even aware of. In fact, those small things can add up to a lot. Yes, guys, bring on the questions. Can you pull them out with tweezers? So, like, I mean, of course you can, but to be honest, they're microscopic, and people with a higher amount literally have hundreds of thousands on their body. So it's not just a matter of like plucking a few hairs out. Even like shaving your head, it won't make a difference because they live under the skin and also in the oil glands. So, I mean, you totally could pull them out with tweezers, but it really, like, it won't treat them. I hope that made sense. So if you're watching, comment where you're watching from. I love to know who I'm talking to. Hopefully you can understand my accent. Again, we're based in Australia. I should get back to explaining the treatment. So you can buy the treatment from us through Amazon. Again, if you do buy from Amazon, please get in touch with us. One of the biggest problems we have there is Amazon's its own beast, and we don't always have your contact details to get in touch and to provide that support. So we support our people going through treatment over the phone, email, social media, videos like this. And also, like, we have different chat applications. And yeah, we're basically with you the whole way to make sure that you're doing it correctly and you get the result. So another question has come in. I heard sulfur and tea tree oil will work. Any other suggestions? So again, like home remedies like that, they only target like a small way in which you can kill mites. And also it's too harsh for the skin. So we actually have a blog post about this, which I wrote, so I can essentially tell you what it is. But using things like tea tree or sulfur, they are so strong. It's like, imagine if you have a house and you've got like maybe a cockroach infestation. I think they have cockroaches all over the world. They definitely do in Australia. But imagine instead of treating your house for those cockroaches, you set it on fire. Like, it's too strong. You'll cause more damage than you will trying to fix the situation. So to be honest, like, the only long-term stable treatment for Demodex mites, someone at the door, is Unjex. So it's the full care plan. As I said, it's not just a matter of using the products that work in 2 different ways, make your body a crappy place for them to live and kill them. It's also the protocol, so changing your habits, using them correctly, stopping cross-transfer, and that support. Yeah, I hope that made sense. So we do have a lot of information on our website. You can go to unjex.com. Let me just see. We've got some more comments come through. Amelia on YouTube. No, my pleasure. Thank you for asking all these questions. It saves me from a lengthy monologue. I'm on the phone to customers all day, not just me, my colleagues as well. And we get like so many questions, but Sometimes I've got 3 cameras in front of me looking at my own face. I get like a bit scrambled. So questions are really nice. Thank you. I'll send you an email after this. So it's Friday afternoon here, 5:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. So unless there's any other questions, I'm going to go. Again, we have these videos a couple of times a week. It's not always me. I actually haven't done a live video in about 4 months. I think I had like short black hair last time, if you go back through the archives. But look, I'm in the office 5 days a week. My colleagues are here. Contact us through the social media you're watching on. Take that test on the website. If it's not there now, I'll pop it in the comments after I finish this. Okay, one more, Amelia. Can Modex make a nest on the eyeball? So thank you. So really not so much on the actual eyeball. If you imagine, like, Demodex mites love the oil that your skin produces. So anywhere you have oil glands, they will happily live. So sometimes people have issues like along the lash line, that could be like blepharitis, like crusty eyes, pink eye, any like bacteria. Demodex mites can penetrate, but not so much on the actual eyeball itself, because like there's really no oil or follicles for them to survive on. But lash line, definitely. So if you are sort of wondering, ungex.com, my accent, it's UNGEX. Let's find, our products look like this. All the information's on there, or we can organize a consultation if you want as well. Oh, a few more. Thanks for the info. You're beautiful. Oh gosh, 3 a.m. where you're located. Go to bed. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate everybody who's asked me a question. It's like, these live videos are really cool because I get to sort of, it's not exactly face-to-face, but you get to see me. Usually I'm on the phone all day. But yeah, we can call, especially if you're in the States. Europe, we can call. It's just a tricky time difference. But no matter where you are, get in touch. If you think you have Demodex problems, even if like you just want more information, contact us. If not, next time you see us live, ask a question. Really appreciate it. Demodex is keeping us awake. I can only imagine. You guys are really lovely. Thank you so much. I'm going to go have a cup of tea. All right. Bye. All right. Let me finish all this social media, and Instagram's gone. Bye, YouTube. Bye.